Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Football Fallout. Today we are going to be talking about the Eagles and the Redskins from week one. Just a reminder to everybody, I watch every single NFL game, trying to find the daily fantasy sleepers, trying to find the waiver candidates for everybody and prioritize. Because I write the Fantasy Football Almanac, I have a lot of readers that are asking me a lot of questions, start, sit, and all that. And so somebody's got to watch every single game, so it may as well be me. Thank you to NFL Game Pass because those condensed versions of the games are lifesavers. They're not a sponsor. But they should be, damn it, they should be. Okay, so let's just talk about the Redskins first, since they jumped out to the early league. As somebody who used to be, and I emphasize used to be, a diehard Redskins fan, I watch every Redskins game still. Dan Snyder drives me crazy. That's a story for a podcast. I'm not going to go into it. But I'm very familiar with this franchise and with this division. This is a very typical Washington Redskins game. You jump out to a lead. You can't really maintain the lead, and then the other team passes you at the end of the end. I'm sorry, that's just the Dan Snyder era of the Washington Redskins. It is what it is there. But Case Keenum looked pretty good. Case Keenum looked more like the Minnesota Vikings version of Case Keenum. What I've been saying about Case Keenum throughout the offseason is I see Case Keenum and Alex Smith as similar quarterbacks from a fantasy scoring point of view. They're different quarterbacks in the NFL, but similar in terms of fantasy scoring. With Alex Smith, you get more conservatism, so he doesn't push the ball downfield. You get less interceptions, you get less turnovers, but you also get less big plays. And then the inverse is true for Case Keenum. Case Keenum will push the ball down the field. He will be aggressive. You're going to get some turnovers. It's going to happen. But you will get, like what we saw this week, you will get a lot of long touchdown passes, which is kind of fun to watch if you're a Redskins fan. We saw with the passing game, McLaurin looked fantastic. I think he's one of my top waiver targets. He's a top daily fantasy. His budget's not going to skyrocket next week, so he's going to be a nice daily fantasy sleeper for everybody out there. But most importantly, like I said, he looked like the best Washington Redskins receiver. I think the Eagles are really keying in on stopping Paul Richardson, and they did a good job. McLaurin was kind of running free there. Maybe as the NFL adjusts, Paul Richardson will get more opportunities, and we'll see that happen. Vernon Davis had a nice game. Jordan Reed obviously was out of the game there. He didn't play. When Jordan Reed is healthy, when he's healthy, he scores, and he will score well in this offense because this offense can push the ball downfield. At running back, I was surprised to see them deactivate Adrian Peterson. I knew that they were going to roll with Guice, but unfortunately, Adrian Peterson was a kind of a casualty, a game day deactivation, a healthy scratch. Chris Thompson in this offense he's not going to do as well as he did 2 years ago, but he'll get opportunities because I think this offense is going to need to pass the ball a lot, unfortunately, for you Redskins fans. So we'll see what happens there. But Guice came up a little bit dinged up. Adrian Peterson, I'm sure, will be active next week. Philadelphia's run defense, if you're a Guice owner, don't panic too much. I like him. I think he's very talented. Philadelphia's defense is also very talented, and they really bottled Washington up and made them one-dimensional, and it served them well. For the Eagles, Carson Wentz looked great. I had a big question kind of see was he going to come out, was he going to be rusty, because he didn't play so much. He started rusty, let's be honest. I mean, he didn't have a great first half. Other than I think he hit DeSean Jackson deep in the first half. I know he hit him twice. Speaking of DeSean Jackson, look, he does really well in revenge games. He was charged up. He always plays well in Philadelphia. I think he's going to be a viable fantasy football starter. I don't think he's going to be getting 2 touchdowns a week, especially as defenses react to him. But he wanted to beat up on Washington, and literally he did. I think he beat up on Quentin Dunbar a little bit in the first half, got a personal foul on him, but it was okay. Alshon Jeffrey, hey man, he looks really good. This Eagles offense reminds me more of what we saw in the 2017 season, and Carson Wentz looked good. That's what you want to see. I expected the Eagles' running game to struggle a little bit. Washington's run defense is a little underrated in NFL circles. I thought they would struggle. Miles Sanders is the back to own in this system, so if you have him, great. If you have Jordan Howard, you can probably let him go. I understand maybe staying patient with him for another week if you want to, but I just don't see it happen. If Philadelphia spreads the ball around way too much for running backs, so you want the running back that gets the goal line carries. That's going to be Miles Sanders. Everybody else they're more daily fantasy value to me than fantasy football rostered value. If you're in a deep league and you have a lot of room on your roster, fine. But if you're in a shallow bench league like I am, I wouldn't want to own Jordan Howard, and I wouldn't recommend that you do either. Dallas Goedert, can we stop it with the Dallas Goedert sleeper stuff? You do realize, people, that Zach Ertz is better than him, and he's healthy, and he's ahead of him on the depth chart. Dallas Goedert will have a lot of 3 to 5 catch games. He might find the end zone every now and then. Zach Ertz is the tight end to own. If Dallas Goedert is your starting tight end, there's a lot of value out there. Go get Austin Hooper. Go get Delaney Walker, somebody like that. Dallas Goedert is not a starting tight end. I'm sick of people saying that he is. He's a very talented player, don't get me wrong. But look, it's opportunity. Zach Ertz is going to get the snaps there. Carson Wentz likes Zach Ertz. It's just not going to happen. So there you go. There's the fantasy football fallout, I should say. Please subscribe to this episode or this network, the Underdog TV Network. Please like this video and comment. We'll be interactive, and stay tuned for another episode.